Premier League supporting teams, obviously. How do we feel about the fact that there's no longer replays?
I like it, but I think that extra time needs to go. I think if you draw at the end of 90 minutes, just go straight to penalties. I really don't see the point of having another half an hour when players are usually tired anyway, and by the second half, the second 15 minutes, the players are normally playing for penalties anyway, and there's usually no excitement at all. Obviously, with a few exceptions, but I really don't see the point at all of having that extra 30 minutes. Just go straight to penalties.
What about because of what game was it? I think it was one in the Euros, when a couple of games went to extra time. And the thing is, most of the time, what you notice is they play 9 minutes, and the quality of football is normally quite good, as expected. But it gets to extra time. It doesn't matter about the quality of the player. All of a sudden, the quality does just drop.
Yeah.
And it's like you're going to get a scrappy goal or be caught on the counter to win the game. Or like you say, if they're both playing for penalties because they're scared of conceding the goal, like you say.
Yeah. And I mean, the third round of the FA Cup, there's no need to kind of just get to the penalties, get it over with, and move on. I really don't see the point of having that another 30 minutes that the players have to play.
I agree with your point about the extra time. I couldn't disagree more about replays. The fact that we don't get replays anymore is genuinely a travesty. When you think about the fact that Tamworth, so what would have happened? We're talking business now, right? What would have happened? Tamworth 0-0, fantastic result, amazing. Got a draw at home to Tottenham, brilliant. Then they'll arrange a replay at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where Tamworth will get 50% of all earnings.
Yeah,
that will fund that club for 10 years.
Yeah, I agree.
And now that no longer happens because, and I understand the point of player welfare. We play too much games, etc., etc. Completely stands up until you see that Tottenham have arranged a post-season friendly in Australia against Newcastle 3 days after their final league game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do that, don't they?
It doesn't hold up when you look at it like that. So I agree with extra time, by the way. Extra time is a waste of time, and it's going to cause injuries, etc., etc. I agree.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can't do replays, but we play the amount of international fixtures we've got, the amount of friendlies that happen, and even further than that. So, I mean, you look at the club schedules. So, say one of the Premier League teams that got knocked out over the weekend, if there was any, right? When fourth round comes and they won't have a game, they will arrange a behind closed doors game with another team that's not playing to make sure all the players are sharp and ready to go for the league game next week. So isn't that too many games?
Yeah, but that game obviously won't be played at nearly the intensity that an actual FA Cup game or league game will be played. I know what you mean, that it's technically another game, but it is just one of those, just keep the sharpness, keep the fitness kind of things. I don't think it's quite the same. I mean, it's one of those where, with the replays, I mean, the top clubs, so, Premier League teams and maybe championship teams who are chasing promotion would argue are happy that there are no more replays, and then the lower league teams are kind of happy or are not as happy. So it's difficult. But as a fan, obviously, I mean, as a fan of a lower league club, you would be disappointed, for example, Tranmere getting the 0-0, not getting to go to Tottenham's ground and having the club having a massive influx of money because of that. But I mean, fans, the top sides would say exactly the opposite. They don't really care about that, obviously, because they have the money. They're happy just to do the one fixture and move on. So it's.
I've seen a lot of people on social media sort of argue about this today, and someone said to a Tamworth fan, "Why would you want a replay to go up to London and watch your team lose 9-0 at a Premier League stadium? Nobody wants that." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, they absolutely do. They don't care what that result is. If I support Tamworth, I don't give a damn what that result is, because the only time you're going to a stadium that's got more than one toilet is down. Do you know what I mean? So
do you know what? Where you've mentioned that as well, I remember a game earlier in the season, Chelsea in the Conference League. Obviously, the teams we're playing in that tournament they are like, well, we're so much better than them. But there was one team that came to Stamford Bridge in Noah. They came to that game. I think the score was 8-0 in the end. But throughout that entire game, you looked at the Noah fans and they were loving every second of it. And that's exactly like you say there. Why would you be celebrating like that if you're losing 8-0? Because it's the occasion. That's probably the only time in their history they may play a team like Chelsea.
It's a really difficult conversation, because if you're talking about sporting integrity and competition, then there was no reason to get rid of replays. But you are talking financial, and that's what it is. It's not.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a financial blow for the lower league teams and the non-league teams, and it's a financial boost to the Premier League and the Championship teams, and that's the fact of the matter. And it sucks. It does. As a Premier League supporter, it sucks, but it is what it is.